Glenn Beck Insiders, good morning. Welcome to the Torch Insider Show. Another beautiful day, another great broadcast coming your way. I cannot wait. I had a lot to get to today. I'm just going through all of your amazing comments right now. Let's go Buffalo. First commenter of the day. Good morning, all. 30 years around the sun completed. Hopefully there's another 70 plus ahead. 30 plus. Happy birthday. Let's go Buffalo. Kayla, good morning. Fellow founders from Colorado. Jen in Colorado. Good morning, all. Good morning, Jenin. Adam, good morning from Arizona. Mark Live, good morning, everyone. Don't tread on Mitch, first comment. Don't tread on Mitch. You were just a little bit late on that bad boy. It was Buffalo, 30 years old today. Brett, hey, Jason, I live 12 miles from Skinwalker Ranch. That's amazing, actually. I want to know more about that. I'm just assuming there's some crazy stuff in the skies where you live. Mark H., good morning from Utah. What is the temperature in Utah? It's got to be insane right now. I just looked up the temperature in Florida. It's in the 40s. How are you people in Florida handling the 40s? You're probably wrapped up, heater turned on maximum. It's probably just dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Dida, good morning from Montana. Probably cold up there as well. Tons and tons of people jumping in. If you are on another platform, you are missing out on all of this. You need to convert over right now. Go to glenbeck.com/torch. Consider subscribing to us. Become a founding member. The days are rapidly melting away for you to become a founding member. Tons of cool perks, including an inflation subscription for life. For life. Inflation subscription free for life. Head on over and... yes, lots and lots of cool perks and stuff. There's one of the cool perks, including all of our other content, is a huge special we have coming up on the Islamization of America and the West. It is way past time for all of this stuff to be called out. There is a lot that I am researching, going through some of the revelations that we've uncovered. Stuff is scary. You need to get over there and watch this show. It's coming up. Probably mid to, I would say, like the mid of the month next week or next month. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be huge, but it's only going to be available if you are a subscriber to the Torch. So you need to do that right now. Go to glenbeck.com/torch and subscribe. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Speaking of lots and lots of cool stuff, a big show today. We have some very interesting guests coming up, I believe, in Hour 3. We're going to have Brad Reese in Hour 3. He's the grandson of the inventor of Reese's. And if you're like me, that's my favorite candy. It always has been since I was like this tall. He's got some things to say about what's been happening to his granddad's company. That's coming up at Hour 3. We're also going to have a rancher, Bowen Troyer. He's coming up. I've talked a lot about cattle prices. And specifically like prices of beef, steaks, ground beef, everything, which is absolutely nuts. What is happening with the price of meat? And there are some very, I should say, scary statistics on cattle herds and the numbers that's out right now. That's going to be discussed in Hour 3, a lot of other stuff. But I don't even know how we're going to have time again today because we've got, let me just look through what we were discussing today in our morning meeting for the radio program today. Olympic celebrations. People freaking out. Oh, my gosh, Kash Patel was actually having a good time. It's insane. Locker room jokes being said over the phone. Oh, my gosh, everyone freak out. Beyond that, it's State of the Union Day. What do you want? Let me know. Drop a comment. What do you want to hear the president talk about tonight? We've got a ton of stuff that needs to be addressed. I'm sure he's going to talk about the economy. Are we going to war with Iran? What's happening? All of the other areas of the world where he's focused on, Venezuela, Cuba, etc. And how does that change the situation inside the United States? How does that make life better for us? I hope he gets to all of that. But what I really want to hear about is aliens. Is he going to talk about aliens? We've heard about the speech. Is he finally going to drop the alien speech? I kind of doubt it, but that would be cool. It's fun to look forward to, if anything. And also, did you hear what the left is doing right now? They're bringing in Epstein victims. That's part of their big protest movement. Are they sure they want to do that? Are they sure they want us looking into, I guess, who the hypocrites are here on this? I think Glenn's going to have more on that and a lot more like Nazi hysteria and the mainstream media. They did it again. They keep doing it. And we're still seeing the ramifications of crazed gunmen all over the country thinking they have to do wild things like show up to Mar-a-Lago with a shotgun and a fuel tank. It's insane. Lots of other stuff, including tariffs, what's happening with lawsuits with that. Lots more with Glenn.
The fusion of entertainment, enlightenment, and empowerment. This is the Glenn Beck Program. Glenn Beck is on!
Hello, America. People, we have the wienerization of America to talk about. Quickly, run. Oh my gosh, what is happening in Boston? What is happening, America? Stop being such wieners. Wusses. Man up. Did he just say man up? I said it. Man up, for the love of Pete. We'll get to that here in just a second. Also, the State of the Union is happening. The U.S. hockey team, the women's hockey team, they're not going to go see the president. I got a story and something to say about that. Also, the Virginia Democrats, the affordability agenda, what they're going to do is unionize everybody. I've got a few things to say from FDR progressives. Also, the Dennis Prager podcast, which is an amazing podcast. It drops early. It's dropping tonight at 6 or 6:30, 6 o'clock for insiders of Torch. You don't want to miss that. It'll be available everywhere on Saturday. And we just have a lot. Did I mention the State of the Union? We got to get to that as well. So stand by, 60 seconds. We begin. First, let me tell you about Rapid Radios. Say you run a construction crew across multiple floors of a building where cell reception's spotty at best. One guy's in the basement, another guy's on the roof. Somebody else is trying to get a load of materials moved in before the crane window closes. And you're standing there, phone in hand, watching the bars flicker like they're mocking you. Can you hear me now? That keeps running through your head. That's not a strategy. When you're moving steel and concrete and people through a tight schedule, you don't have time for drop calls, voicemail tags, or texts that arrive 10 minutes too late. Rapid Radios give you instant push-to-talk communication. No complex programming, no waiting for connection. You turn them on, you're talking clear, direct, and immediate. So whether you're running a job site, managing an event, or just need reliable communication when phones aren't cutting it, Rapid Radios keeps everyone on the same page, because when you're responsible for the work and people are doing it, spotty isn't good enough for your communication. The new Rad 1 is officially live. Head on over to rapidradios.com. Get the radio built for real life. Communication redefined at rapidradios.com. That's rapidradios.com. Okay, so the Boston Globe, I'm sorry, I have to get this off my chest. I have to rant, and then we'll be okay. I've got to get this out of my system. The snowstorm is happening. It's a bad snowstorm, really bad snowstorm, but it's not the worst snowstorm in history, for the love of Pete. I can't take it. Stop being such wieners, America. It's not the worst snowstorm. The Boston Globe, 153 years old, they've decided to close. Well, is it the worst? No, not even close. Well, it's the winds, please. No, it's not. In the 1970s, they clocked 70-mile-an-hour gusts and still had kids walking uphill both ways in snowdrifts that required a Sherpa. They still went to school. They still did things. Today, a forecast. Well, there's going to be 40-mile-an-hour winds. We better stay home. Suddenly in the newsroom at the Boston Globe needs a weighted blanket and an emotional support cocoa everywhere. For the love, this is the wiener. People. Let's all be wieners. No, let's not. This is the wienerization of America. And we have convinced ourselves that inconvenience is danger. that discomfort is oppression, that if the plows aren't pre-salted and the Starbucks line is too long, civilization's got to pause for me. My gosh. There was a time when if the presses needed to run, you got your butt out of bed and you went in. Think of this. The great snowstorm of Boston of 1888. You think that was worse than it is now, Boston? Really, do you think? You fed the horse. You went pee and poop outside. You got up, you chopped the wood, you had to build a fire, you made sure your family didn't freeze to death. Then you got the horse after feeding him, put all that crap on the horse. Then you went in. And then you set the type by hand with ink on your fingers. Oh my gosh, lead in your lungs. And if the snow was 10 inches deeper than the forecast, you didn't tweet about it. You leaned into it because the paper had to be printed. That's the thing. Okay? Some things have to be done. It wasn't about toughness. It was performance. It was about responsibility. The paper was the lifeline. Markets, war reports, births, deaths, the morning voice of Boston. Now, well, due to weather, we're going to all stay home, and we'll just get everything done digitally. Digitally. Oh, okay. So here's what they're really saying. You're good. You're on your own. We just think that we have wieners working for the Boston Globe, and they're all going to complain if they come in. And if they do come in and somebody, God forbid, is hurt, they're going to sue us. I mean, I'm not arguing for frostbite as a virtue. I'm just arguing for a little perspective here. Boston is not Palm Beach. Snow's not actually a surprise in February. This isn't Miami going, what do they call that? Ice? With lizards falling out of the trees. For the love of Pete, this is a city that once measured winter in feet, not inches. In 1978, I looked this up because I couldn't take the wienerization. 1978, when the blizzard dumped nearly 30 inches in parts of Massachusetts, and the winds were running like a freight train at 70 miles an hour, people still dug out. They didn't ask, is this emotionally sustainable to me? I'm not sure. They asked, where's the shovel? Today, we have built a culture that is everywhere, that treats minor adversary like a Category 5 existential crisis. I need a safe room. He's saying these things to me on the radio. I feel under attack. Oh, my gosh. Man up. You're not that fragile, okay? Yeah, everybody's vulnerable a little bit, okay? Man up. Nothing is expected today. And when you remove expectation, you remove all chance of pride, okay? When you remove pride, you remove grit. When you remove grit, they shut the paper down. This is not about snow. This is not about wind. This is not about safety memos. This is about a nation that has convinced itself that hard is unfair. Wait, I've got to go to work every day for 8 hours, but I did it for 8 hours yesterday, and I didn't like it. I don't have my corner office. There's no place for me just to go and rock back and forth and cry about all the injustices that the world has faced. Hard is what built this country. You know why you have it so easy? Because a lot of people did hard things so you didn't have to. But you know what? We're going to lose all those great things if you don't harden up just a tick, sweetheart. Hard crossed the Atlantic. I know, but now, the planes, it'll take 6 hours to get to England. Oh, yeah. Hard laid track through mountains. Hard printed newspapers by gaslight when the snow hit sideways. If a 173-year institution pauses for a routine New York or New England snowstorm, it's not because the weather changed. It's because the American people have changed. And maybe we should just think for a second. Maybe the storm that we should worry about is not outside. Maybe it's the one that made us think we can't handle it. We can't handle 17 inches of snow. Ah! Oh, I look at us and I think we're never going to make it. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. I'll explain next hour why that's not a good thing. But there are times when I think there's no way, because nobody's willing to do anything that's tough anymore. You're just not willing to do it. I have so much respect for people who work at McDonald's now. I have so much respect for them because they're actually working. They're going in while the rest of humanity's like, I just get it for free. I can't do that. And McDonald's is beneath me. There are people that are actually doing it. I just have so much respect. Thank you. Thank you for going in and doing a job that everybody else says, is beneath them. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I really do. Oh, gosh. Oh, and by the way, for those in Boston, it could be worse. You could be living in New York. The latest from Mamdani, he's got to get people out with snow shovels, and he needs you, the average New Yorker, to apply for a job. Now, minimum wage in New York City is $17, but he's offering $19 an hour. Okay, he promised $30 an hour, but he's offering $19 an hour. But then the snow got really heavy. The snow got really, really heavy. And so now, because this emergency snow is so much heavier, we're going to pay you $28.71 an hour. Okay, not the 19 that even the city of New York can't afford 19. We're going to pay you 28 because it's really tough. Really tough. I mean, there's blizzard conditions. Okay. All right. Now, here's the best part. To be eligible, I went to the website. Of course I did. I went to the website and I checked out, what does it take to apply for a job? Got to be 18 years old. Oh my gosh, what an ageist. Eligible to work in the United States. Now, wait a minute. Let me just go back to the 18 years old. Why do you have to be 18 years old? I mean, you're old enough to have somebody say, you're old enough to walk in and say, I want my body parts cut off. I want to transition to a male or a female. I am old enough to attend a strip show, in kindergarten. What is it that an 18-year-old doesn't have? Why do you have to be 18 years old? Safety. Okay. All right, boo-boo. You have to be eligible to work in the United States. So what does that mean exactly? Are you saying you can't be illegal? You have to be eligible to work in the United States. What? There's nobody that's illegal. You have to be able to perform heavy physical labor. Why? Why? You don't like differently abled people? You have to register. Appointments are available from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Walk-ins are accepted. And when you come for your appointment, you have to have 2 original forms of ID plus copies, if possible, and a Social Security card. Now, remember, he's talking about applying for a job in a blizzard. But you've got to get your 2 original forms of ID, plus stop at a Kinko's on the way. They're closed. Stop at a Kinko's on the way. Get a couple of copies of it. Don't forget your Social Security card. Don't forget your Social Security card. But if you want to vote, you're in. In fact, you can vote. Just leave. We'll write a note on who you want to vote for. We'll just put it in our pocket. You just leave it at the front desk of City Hall. What the hell? Oh, my gosh. I can't take it. I can't. Nobody is willing to do anything. And nobody. Do I sound? Oh, my gosh. I'm sounding like my grandfather. I'm turning into my grandfather. Actually, you know what? My grandfather was right. So I'm glad I'm turning into my grandfather, because what I used to think was like an old man ranting, I realized, no, he had wisdom. He was right. He saw that my generation were becoming giant wieners. And what did we do? We bred wieners. We made them bigger. GMO wieners. That's what our kids are. Congratulations, America. All right, let me tell you about our sponsor this half hour. It's the International Fellowship. When America stands with Israel, it is standing with the only democracy in a very volatile region. Let me say that again. The only democracy in the Middle East. Okay, talking point, probably paid for by Israel. It's a fact. In a part of the world dominated by regimes that crush dissent and export terror, Israel remains a nation built on free elections, independent judges, a free press, the rule of law. I mean, I don't want to live there. I don't like their system of government. I like ours. I don't want to fight their wars. But can we recognize the difference between Iran, Syria, I'm not going to say, and other monarchies in the Middle East? Can we just notice the difference? Israel's fighting for its life. When sirens sound and families have to reach shelter, it doesn't matter if you're a Palestinian or an Israeli. They want everybody safe. I've been there. I've seen it. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews provides food, shelter, security, and emergency aid to vulnerable Jewish families because standing with our Jewish neighbors, our Jewish friends, our Jewish brothers and sisters is not abstract. It means making sure families have what they need when the world around them feels very unstable and hostile. Look, you can bless Israel and be blessed in return. Just visit ifcj.org, ifcj.org. Be the blessing. Live the word. Answer the call. ifcj.org. 10 seconds. Station ID.
From the founding to today's front page, learn the past and decode the present by joining the Torch community at glennbeck.com/torch.
It's misogynistic. What? This is, do we have the audio? Try to find the misogynistic place in Donald Trump's calling of the men's hockey team after the win. He's on, it's a locker room. Adrenaline is running really super high. And he's talking to him about bringing him to the White House. Now listen to this. Here it is.
I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something. But if you would like to, it's the coolest night. It's the biggest.
We're in.
Yes. I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that.
Oh, my gosh.
I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay?
Oh, my gosh. It's so offensive. I need a safe space. How is that misogynistic? How is that misogynistic? By the way, when he said that, what did the men say? 2 for 2. Yes, good. Oh my gosh. It's so it's horrifying. He's a Nazi. See, I told you he was a Nazi. Oh my gosh. Now, the women's hockey team, they're not going. Quote, we are sincerely grateful for the invitation extended to our gold medal winning U.S. hockey team, women's. We deeply appreciate the recognition of their extraordinary achievement due to timing and previously scheduled academic and professional commitments. Following the games, the athletes are unable to participate. No. Don't buy it. They don't buy it. I think, women are different. And did you hear what he just said? Women are different. How does he even know? Believe me, I know. Women are different, and I'll bet you this was more of a political. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I think this was much more of a political question. If you had another event, I have to be back at school. I think we could probably give you the day off. You're going to see the president. No, here's what it is. I got to go back to school, and I don't want to say I was just at the White House with Donald Trump. That's what that is. You just don't turn down a president. You don't turn down the president. I said this with Barack Obama. If Barack Obama invited me to the White House, I would have gone to the White House. I would have shook his hand and say, Mr. President, thank you for the invite. If it was appropriate, I would say, I stand against everything you say. I strongly disagree with all of that at an appropriate time. But he's the president of the United States. You know, here's the girls' hockey team. There's this great scene in a book called Freedom's Forge, and it's by Arthur Herman. He's one of my favorite historians. If you've not read Freedom Forge, you need to read it. So William Knudsen, he's the guy who actually perfected the, the assembly line. Henry Ford didn't do that. Henry Ford he didn't know his ass from his elbow, and he got Knudsen to come in and actually figure it out. After Ford had failed a couple of times, Knudsen came in and put it all down on the ground and said, no, you're doing it wrong. It's got to be this way. So he's the guy who did it. He goes to work eventually for GM. It's in the 1930s. FDR is he's calling everybody, all these giant companies. GM had a problem, with the policies of the president, all of his progressive policies. And the president was not necessarily calling out anybody by name. Sometimes he did, but it was known Knudsen and General Motors were not friendly, or the president wasn't friendly to them. He needed big business, but they didn't like his policies. Okay. 1939 comes, you start to see Germany invade, the buildup of the war. England is freaking out. They realize we don't have enough ships, we don't have anything. So he calls on this guy who he's really pretty much targeted his whole life, William Knudsen. And FDR says, come to the White House, I need your help. His family is sitting around Sunday night dinner, and they're like, Dad, you can't go. This guy's been calling you a monster forever. You can't go. And he said, he is the president. He's my president. And if he asks me to serve, I will go and listen out of respect for my president. That's the way we should all feel about every president. And if you don't feel that way, it's because the power is out of balance. Let's go back to the Constitution, shall we? All right, let me tell you about our sponsor this half hour. It's Patriot Mobile. You know as well as I do, we have to be very intentional about where our money goes. Values-driven shopping is not limited to coffee brands and sneakers. It includes your biggest utility bills. Most people spend 10 minutes researching where their coffee beans come from. But think about where your cell phone bill goes every month. Not so much. That bill is not small. You're sending them a lot of money. And behind the scenes, many of the big mobile companies are using their profits to fund causes and organizations that run directly counter to your beliefs. Now, they're the ones that built the system, so you still have to have some of their backbone, but you don't have to pay all that money to them. You can actually go and be on those same cell towers with Patriot Mobile. They offer nationwide coverage on the same networks that you're used to, competitive pricing, U.S.-based customer service, and the difference is where their support goes, to the organizations that support the things you believe in. So go to patriotmobile.com/Beck or call 972-PATRIOT. Promo code Beck, get a free month of service. patriotmobile.com/Beck, 972-PATRIOT.
Just days left to lock in your inflation-proof membership for life. Join our community that's helping us build something bigger than ourselves at glennbeck.com/torch.
Welcome back, Glenn Beck Insiders. Welcome back to the Torch Insider Show. And as Rockstar Ricky just talked about, go to glennbeck.com/torch and subscribe. We have a new feature today. It is live. You can go to glennbeck.com/torch, check out your subscription, but you can also now gift a sub to a family member, friend, even someone that maybe just needs to be educated in the right way, the way the founders intended, being properly read, being properly educated on everything that this country stands for, their speeches, their books that they wrote, the everything that the founders based this entire American project on. That is what the Torch is all about, directing a level of education and insight, something that is revolutionary today, but is also being turned in the opposite direction in lots of places like the mainstream media. Break out of that mainstream media bubble. Go to glennbeck.com/torch. Consider subscribing to us. You can now gift a subscription to someone. You can also, and I want to say, if you go to you can't use the app when you do this. You need to go to the web-based version of that. So pull up your computer, go to the web-based version of that, go to your profile. There'll be an option to gift a sub. Do it all from there. Super simple. Speaking of, we are closing in on record-breaking conversation right now at the Torch stream for today's broadcast. Record-breaking. You can also, if you're not subscribed, you're going to miss out on this. You got 30 more minutes to get to it. We have a poll live right now. You probably saw it pop up right when it went live. The poll question today is: What do you hope President Trump's discussion tonight during the State of the Union? What do you want him to talk about? And there are the economy and tariffs, war with Iran, the SAVE Act, election integrity, and ICE operations. And right now, SAVE Act, election integrity is blowing up every other entry. Absolutely blowing it up. Get in right now. If you cannot see this, you're probably not subscribed to the Torch. So go on over, glennbeck.com/torch, subscribe, get in on this conversation, and then make your voice heard and make your vote heard as well on this. I'm going to click out of this. Tons of things to go over. Tons of stuff. Even just in this hour, we still have not even got into the State of the Union. We talked about the wienerization of America. It continues. These wieners are speaking wienerish, doing weenie things. GMO wieners. It's out of control. It's off the chain. Speaking of that Olympics conversation, that just cracked me up. Come on. Locker room jokes after a team just took the gold medal? Are you kidding me? If that's what makes you blush or pisses you off, you really do not want to get into a real locker room and hear what goes on there. Come on. But give me a break. These guys are just having a good time. Go into some of your comments, Jonathan. It's raining wieners in Boston. Too funny. Sandra, I didn't sleep all night. Worried about Iran. Worried about attacking Iran. I'm so sick of all this. Now they are upset about snow in the east. I lived through 48 inches in the blizzard of 66. Wow. I think that was the year. That's crazy. It's funny. I mean, Glenn's talking about this, but meanwhile, he's probably in a tank top and shorts and flip-flops down in Florida right now. Just saying. Gen X, KC. Climate fear works on Californians, especially elderly. Every time it rains here, my mom texts me, "Are you guys okay?" Because California news scares. The weirdest stuff happens in California. I lived there for a long, long time. It felt like a long time. It was over 10 years. And every time it rains, you get the mud. When it doesn't rain, you get the brush fires all over the place. It is absolutely insane. Just absolutely ridiculous. Salty Gen Xer Kim, you need 2 forms of ID to be a snow shoveler in New York City. That kind of sounds like Jim Crow 3.0, actually. I actually have more stuff. Speaking back to Gen X about California, I've got some new audio from Gavin Newsom, which kind of goes towards what we played yesterday when he was insulting every black person on the face of the planet. He actually had something different to say when it came to I guess when he changed his setting and his chameleon colors had to change. It was completely different. I'm going to play that for you a little bit later in the show. But today is State of the Union Day. Go in right now. You can still vote on and let your vote and voice be heard on our poll right now in the Blaze chat. There's a lot of stuff that we want to hear, that I want to hear about personally. The economy, Iran, everything else. Like, the president's been very outward focused on a lot of different things, whether that be South America, whether that be Greenland, whether that be the Middle East. How does that help Americans here at home? I really want to hear his explanation for that, and to focus in on making America great again, how his entire international policies point right back to the homeland and Main Street USA. Cannot wait to hear about that. But today's George AI, I'm going to give you a preview for that. Like we typically do at the top of the next hour, probably in about 30 minutes or so, George AI is on today's State of the Union. It's about the State of the Union. I had to hypothetically say, this is what the State of the Union has morphed into, evolved into. Is this what you intended for the State of the Union? I think it's going to be very, very enlightening what they think or how they see it being evolved today. Glenn comes back.
Tonight at 6 o'clock, Dennis Prager and I talk about his new book, If There Is No God, the battle between who defines good and evil. It's an amazing conversation. He is paralyzed from the neck down. This is one of the first public appearances. I think this is the first. I know it's the first national radio appearance that he has done since he left his own show. And he is, it's amazing to watch. This guy, wait until you hear how positive he is. I mean, he has no reason to be positive. I would not. I would be a little cantankerous, just a little bit. He is not. He's just a remarkable man, really. But we talk about, how if we dismiss God, then everything falls apart. Absolutely everything falls apart, including our happiness. And he talks about that. You don't want to miss that. It's episode 280 of the podcast. It's a Torch exclusive conversation. It comes out tonight at 6 o'clock for Torch subscribers. It'll be out everywhere on Saturday, but you really don't want to miss this. Here is a clip of the interview. I spoke to him. I think I started the conversation. Well, no, let me go here. People are starting to refer to America as a Christian nation. And I said, is it important to have to emphasize this is a Judeo-Christian nation? And why? Listen to his response.
Glenn, God bless you for asking that question. I intend to write a major piece on that issue.
Good.
There is no Christianity. There is no Christ without the Judeo. Jesus was a Jew, and as I tell my Christian friends, Jesus never read the New Testament. Jesus was a Jew. The gospel writers were Jews. The apostles were Jews. Paul was a Jew. I mean, all the ideas that Christians use to validate their faith are based on the Jewish Bible.
Yeah.
There's no Christian without Judeo, and correct. The Judeo would not be known in the world without the Christian. The reason people know about the Ten Commandments all over the world is because Christians publicized it. We need each other tremendously, and I believe there's a divine role for both.
I'm going to get into a lot with Dennis Prager. You don't want to miss this exclusive interview with him. His book comes out, by the way, If There Is No God. Please, he can't do a book tour himself. He's doing very limited number of these interviews. It took a lot for him to do this interview. We had to stop several times because he had to catch his breath. But he so believes in the message of this book, and so do I. I wrote the afterword for it. I read it. It was shortly after Charlie's death. He sent it to me, and I wrote the afterword for it. It is really good. Buy it. It's available in bookstores everywhere. Show your support for Dennis Prager and get a really good book, If There Is No God, available now. All right, so tonight, and Jason and Sarah and Ricky, I'd like to bring you in on this. Tonight is the State of the Union. And I have a list of things that I think he has to talk about today. But I'd like to start, Sarah, I'd like to actually start with you because you're more of the average person. You got into this because this was like, it's a job. I push buttons. It's a job. And you're a raging alcoholic.
Yes.
Right. Raging alcoholic. So, you're like the average American. Are you gonna watch this tonight?
I'm definitely going to try. I'm excited for the pomp and circumstance as usual. But
really, you like that part?
I do, because it pisses everybody off.
I hate that part. Okay. Okay. All right. It's typically you. Okay. Now I understand it.
Yeah.
Now I understand. Because it does. It pisses me off. I'm like, shut up. They just introduced him 5 seconds ago and you gave him a standing ovation. And now you reintroduce him and you're going to give him another 2-minute standing ovation. We could all go home. We could be in bed in 15 minutes if you guys would just sit on your hands for a while. But that's just me.
No, that's very true.
Is there anything that he has to say to you that you want to hear?
I want stats. I want numbers. I want him to come with facts. I think a lot of times he's just, I'm the greatest and this is going to be the best economy ever. I want I want comparisons.
He's going to give that tonight.
I hope
he's
so.
going to give that. Jason, what does the president have to do?
Well, per the insiders, the president has to address the SAVE Act and election integrity. They are leading in the poll right now, so that's what they really want, and it's hard to kind of argue with that. I'm really curious about, because the president has made a big focus on outward-facing threats. South America, he's talking about Greenland. He's tried to bring peace to Ukraine. He's been in the middle, all over the Middle East. The point is, he's very outward-focused, when a lot of people were saying Make America Great Again is all about being inward focused, economy, all those things. I want to know how this, and it kind of goes towards your question of him during his first 100 days, on whether he was trying to fix a system that was built post-World War II. Talk about that and tell us how all these things you're focused on outwardly is really about focused on inside the United States. Make that clear to the American people. That's paramount.
Excellent. Ricky?
He's got to convince both sides of the aisle that when he does the targeted strike on Iran, it's not if, when he does it, it's in our interest. Speaking to what Jason was talking about, he's also got to convince both sides of the aisle and all of America that his policies with ICE, even though there may have been some distractions, we'll call it that, in Minnesota, his policies for ICE are for all Americans, to keep all Americans safe, not just Republicans.
Agree. Okay, before I get to my list of things, because I wrote down about 8 things that I think he has to do tonight. But give me a list of who's coming. The hockey team is coming. The male hockey team is coming.
So Sarah wants the pomp and circumstance. I want to see Quinn and Jack Hughes. Jack still missing his tooth, grinning ear to ear.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, he's going to be there. There's going to be some Epstein victims there that are brought in as props by the Democrats.
Right. I'm not sure that works to their advantage, does it? I mean, really, Bill and Hillary Clinton, you're going to, that party is going to bring in Epstein victims?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's awkward.
All right, whatever.
I think, what was the stat, Jason, about the percentage of people that Epstein had donated to?
89% of Epstein's political contributions went to the left and Democrats. 89%.
89.
So, yeah.
By the way, I think Bill Gates is starting to really feel the heat. Did you see that he left that global conference? He didn't go to that big global conference. What was it, last weekend? Because of this, they were like, I don't think we're going to lose speakers if you show up. I think he's finally starting to get some heat from it, which is good.
You'd think the divorce with his wife would have been...
Yeah, would have been enough. No, apparently not.
But this is the guest that I'm most excited about. She was invited by Speaker Johnson. There's a lot of Americans who may not know the story of Jimmy Lai. He is currently in a Chinese prison. He's a pro-democracy activist. He's facing 20 years, or he's supposed to be in there for 20 years. And Speaker Johnson and the Trump administration are working to get him free. His daughter, Claire, was invited, and she's recently just started speaking out, and she has said that it's his Christian faith that has sustained him. And as you know, being a Christian in China is probably not the most popular position.
No, not at all. Not at all. Let's get her on. I'd really like to talk to her. All right, so here are the things that I think the president has to do tonight. He's got to lead with affordability. He's got to lead with, here's what I've done to make the economy for you better. And he's going to have to, he has to express that it is in your best interest. These tariffs are in your best interest. That Iran is in your best interest. All of these peace deals are in your best interest, and why they're in your best interest. But more importantly, Why have I done, like Jason just said, why have I done all these things overseas? How do they affect your wallet? How are they going to affect your children's future? He really needs to distill this and show everything I've done overseas will affect you and your wallet. I had to take care of that first. So the explaining of the outward focus and the explanation of Iran is going to be really, really important. He then also has to talk about the criminal illegals. He needs to make it really clear. We're a nation built on immigration. Should we pause on immigration? Yeah, perhaps so, because we don't have any idea who's coming in. But are we against immigration? No, as long as they're the kind of people that come in and want to renew the promise of America. Okay, we can use those kinds of people to help build a more perfect nation. That is good. But what I'm trying to get off the streets are the criminals, which goes to your point, Ricky. I think it was your point. This affects everybody. And in fact, disproportionately affects people in liberal cities and low-income people. By taking these rapists, these killers, these thugs, drug dealers, by taking them off the streets, it's actually affecting low-income and liberal cities more than it is the red cities. So I'm actually trying to be a president for all of the people here. He also has to address the DHS funding. We are, with what happening in Mexico, you look across that border, man, this whole world is a powder keg. You're going to defund the DHS? ICE has their funding. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you taking our Department of Homeland Security at a time when we may need it most? You've got to restore the funding. He's got to hammer that. He also has to hammer the SAVE Act and why that's not Jim Crow. What they're doing is Jim Crow. And I think the most important thing he can do is define who we are. What is it we're really fighting for? Why is America an important place? Why are our values important? What's important fighting for? What's not important? What happens to the world if we just disappear? What happens to your children? I would love for the president to say, everybody's fighting all the time, and we got to stop this fighting. We have to start saying, if we're going to fight, let's fight together for this vision of America. What would be interesting is if he ever did that, how the left would be forced to be against that vision of America. And it would be so telling, because they would. If he was clearly articulating a vision of America that everyone could look at and go, I want to be like that. I don't care who I voted for. That's the America I want. It would put people in a very awkward position because they would have to come out against that, which they would. Those are the things he needs to do. I think he will be in danger if he takes a victory lap. Now, let me explain that. He's got to take a victory lap. He's got to say what he has accomplished in the last year. But if that victory lap doesn't include, I heard you. Everything that we have done is to get your cost of living down. And you may not feel it yet, but it's happening, and here's the proof. And we're not done yet. I heard you then, I hear you now. If he does what the Democrats did last time, where you just don't get it. You can't read Wall Street reports? He'll lose people. He has got to say, look, I understand that you don't feel it yet, but I heard you then, I hear you now, and we're not done. I had to take care of these big things to be able to get to the things that will actually now affect your table. I had to do it in this order. And the other thing I think he loses on is if he spends any real time bashing the Supreme Court. I don't think people want to hear
the bashing of our institutions. He can say they came up with a really bad thing and I disagree with it, but that's their job. I disagreed with what they came up with. That's my job. And so I thank the Supreme Court because you've just made my tariffs stronger. That's the way he should handle it. If he gets waylaid into, and I'm ashamed of you, and then he's going to sound like the Democrats, and we don't like that when the Democrats do it. I wonder if the Democrats like it when they even do it as well. Probably they do, but I don't. That's what the president needs to do. Tonight at State of the Union, we'll be watching. All right. The Berna launcher, when police lights, were still flashing 2 houses down, when the couple turned off their bedroom lamp, even after the street went dark again, the image of that splintered back door would not leave their minds. It was a neighborhood break-in, middle of the night. Now they're lying there, quiet, for the first time, and the question feels real. If somebody came through our door, what would we do? It's one thing to talk about safety. It's another to actually live it and see it and not as abstract. When it's happening on your street, your neighbors, your family, you realize calling 911 is important, but that doesn't solve the first 20 minutes. That's why the Berna launcher exists. Non-lethal, safe self-defense tool powered by CO2, launchers powerful projectiles and tear gas. It keeps the bad guys away. Time for the cops to get there. Go to Berna.com/Glenn, BYRNA.com/Glenn. Do it now.
Glenn Beck.
Welcome back, Glenn Beck Insiders, and welcome back to the Torch Insider Show. If you are not an insider, you've got about 9 minutes left to keep access to the Torch Insider Show, but also to open up a wave of content that was not available to you before, but also to get in on the Torch Insider chat that's happening at the live stream. That is where you want to be. Go to glennbeck.com/torch and subscribe. Lock in an inflation-proof membership for life and a ton of other perks, but you'll also become a founding member. You want to do that right now. I'm looking at I was looking at the results of the poll that just disappeared. So it must have just ended right now. But it was by far a runaway victory for people voting on the SAVE Act and election integrity. And I will say that is, if you don't have the SAVE Act, if you don't have election integrity, and if they don't fix that, then you don't really have much after that. So I can completely agree with you. That is paramount for them to figure that out. I personally voted. I wish I could have done multiple votes, because personally I would have voted for economy, tariffs, Iran, anything like that, as all kind of mushed up in together. And I explained that with Glenn. The reason why I would pick that is because everything changed after World War II. And I know it's like a no-duh comment, but everything, we were put on a trajectory that we never got off. That train just kept on running. It's still going with no stop, no way for us to even jump off. It seemed like that until President Trump said, look, here's another way. So he started looking at tariffs. He started looking at global trade. He started looking about currency. He started looking about alliances that we had in other parts of the world. For instance, Europe. It is absolutely nuts, insane, whatever, ridiculous that our relationship with Europe is exactly the same post-World War II. It was set up for reconstruction. And of course, if you're Europe, look, it's reasonable for Europe to be responding the way that they're responding. It's reasonable because it's in their interests to always have us protect them, to guarantee their security for life. That's what they're pushing back on. Guarantee their security for life, guarantee their imbalanced trade for life. While we're spending tons of billions and billions of dollars, while we're spending all of that, guaranteeing their safety, they can then redirect billions of dollars towards their social programs, towards being progressively woke out the rear end. They can continue doing that stupid crap. But the moment we say we're stepping back, we're making a level playing field in trade, then suddenly they have to stop and look at their country as a business to where they have to balance budgets. They have to do things a little bit differently. They have to protect their own country and be responsible for their own country if there's ever a military threat. So, of course, they're pushing back on that. It's also reasonable for us to say, we're sick of it. We're tired of it. We're not going to do it anymore. We've got our own problems. Our own problems include south of the border, Mexico, cartels, Venezuela, communist China encroaching, countries like Iran sending Hezbollah and IRGC agents into South America. All of these things go together. I just want the president and the administration to be able to clearly articulate that in front of the entire country. It would be amazing to show, look, this is the new path that we're walking. This is where we're headed to. So let's fix elections. Let's show what this is really all about and how America.
All right. By the way, this is the last week to become a founding member of The Torch. Just go to glennbeck.com/torch. Sign up now. You get guaranteed locked-in price, inflation-proof for the rest of your life or my life, whichever comes first. Inflation-proof. Get it now. Founding member. All kinds of perks.
And we're back. Welcome to the Torch Insider Show. If you are not an insider, you have roughly about 4 minutes to become a part of it. I do not want you to miss out on everything we're going to have today. We're going to drag Glenn in here. He's going to talk in between where you would normally find commercials, but you will stop getting commercials because you are now an insider. You're going to get Glenn behind the scenes. You'll probably get maybe even Sarah behind the scenes. So, there she is. There she is. We might even drag her. One day I'm going to drag in over her and her over here, and you'll be able to talk to her one-on-one. That's going to happen one day. No? Okay. Well, we'll get BJ over there in, I don't know, a wig or something like that. He'll stand in for Sarah. We'll have that. Maybe I'll even drag in producer Matt one of these days. Producer Rockstar Ricky, possibly. Producer Matt's giving me a thumbs down. What is the deal? Why is everybody so camera shy? I don't understand. But anyway, 3 more minutes. You're going to miss all this insider access. Go to glennbeck.com/torch. All the other things like the polls that we just did, everything else, all the debates, everything. But by the way, today is an absolutely stunning, stellar day for conversation. It is blowing up. It's off the charts. Do not miss out on this. Convert over right now. What I want you to do, I want you to go to glennbeck.com/torch right now. Go to glennbeck.com/torch, subscribe, lock in your membership, your inflation-proof membership for life, become a founding member, and let us know where you converted from. Say, hey, I'm Jason from Georgetown or whatever, and this is where you converted over. I want everyone to embrace you. Everyone will. Everyone will say, welcome aboard. Finally, you're here, and get in on the conversations. It's an experience unlike any other, and any kind of other radio, TV, media, anything else. This is a family here, and we want to welcome you to that family. So right now, go subscribe. You do not want to miss out. In a couple of minutes, just for the insiders, I'm going to give since we're talking State of the Union today, I'm going to give the insiders a sneak peek at today's George AI. Today's George AI is what would have the founders thought about the current spectacle. That's, actually what, Sarah actually talked about how she loved the pomp and circumstance and the spectacle of the State of the Union. She said that to Glenn. I'm curious if George would have thought the same thing. Would she agree with Sarah? Maybe we should start a new poll. I'm just curious if George AI agrees with Sarah. We will find out. You will find out in about a minute and a half or so. I'm going to give you a quick little sneak peek of that. I also want to say, for those, before we run out of time and we lose some of the audience because they're not subscribed yet, you can now go to glennbeck.com, do a couple of different things. First, I want you to go to glennbeck.com/contest. Send in your submissions. We're getting a ton of them. They are amazing. Go to glennbeck.com/contest and submit your version for the song contest. That needs to happen ASAP so you can get it in there. Again, it's filling up. Lots and lots of amazing. You guys you're talented, apparently. You're very, very talented, and I'm loving it. You can also now gift a sub, so you can give to family members, friends, other people that may not completely agree with you, but you want them to see what we're all about. You can now gift subs to those people as well, so you can go to the web version of that and go to your profile section, navigate through there. Super simple. Now you can gift a sub. It's amazing. We have multiple different guests coming up in hour 3. We're heading into hour 2, but in hour 3, we're going to have Brad Reese. He's the grandson of the inventor of Reese's. Personally, my all-time favorite candy ever. A little less now, but still pretty much all-time favorite ever. What's happened with Reese's? He's going to let us know. Also, a rancher, Bowen Troyer, is going to talk about a couple of different things, but what I cannot wait to hear him talk about is beef prices and what's going on with cattle herds. Record low numbers. Glenn's going to talk about